Hi, my name is Cecchetti. I'm the Director of Product Strategy for Beyond Identity. We are an identity provider and MFA provider in the cybersecurity space. And we're here today to talk about Secure by Design and specifically about the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency and their Secure by Design pledge. We call this CISA. There are a lot of things in the pledge. We have a lengthy blog post written by Crispin Cowan, who's our resident cybersecurity expert here at Beyond Identity. There's a link to that in the description for the video. So go check that out. That has information on all of the things that are in the pledge and how Beyond Identity has worked to integrate those things into our development lifecycle. The part we're specifically going to talk about today is one of the things in the Secure by Design pledge is eliminating entire classes of attacks. So most of cybersecurity is probabilistic, right? It's a cat and mouse game. We try to secure the systems, people try to break into the systems. And one of our goals as a company is to really make things that are not probabilistic, but deterministic, to say, hey, we can actually lock this so that no one can get in, so that we're not playing a cat and mouse game. Like they're not getting better and then we're getting better and then they're getting better and then we're getting better. We have built a brick wall and there is no way to get through. So we're going to talk about what that means and what that means specifically in the context of identity and access management. When we started the identity and access management field, back when I was very young and had the bone density of steel and was not old like I am today, we mainly secured cybersecurity systems with passwords. And as you probably know, passwords are both insecure and they're a terrible user experience. And so we learned very quickly that attackers could crack passwords. So they can guess the password outright. A lot of people use the same password. If you let them use whatever password they want, they will use something very predictable like password 123 or let me in. And so if you just try those across all of a company's users, you will probably get in. Someone probably used that password somewhere. We also saw attackers using reverse hashes. So the way that we store passwords is we store hashes of them, which is a one-way function. And so if you have the hash, you can guess what the password is. And if the hash matches, then you know you got it right. And so passwords are fundamentally not a great way to secure the system. They're very much in that cat and mouse pattern that I talked about. And so what we did was we layered on top of that something called multi-factor authentication. And so that means that you not only need to provide your password, you need to provide evidence that you have access to a device. So that might mean that an SMS message is sent to your device. It might mean that you scan a QR code with your device. There are many different ways to implement MFA. You might also use a security key. So a common use for that is YubiKeys. I have YubiKeys. I keep them on my earrings. These are YubiKey Nano 5s. And I use these for MFA when I'm not using Beyond Identity or when I'm using a shared device. But the idea is that passwords were not enough. And what we found, even after implementing MFA, is that there are ways to get around MFA too. So SMS is sniffable with off-the-shelf hardware and software. An attacker can see all of your SMS messages. And so sending a code to someone's phone is not sufficient. QR codes can be tricked out of users. An attacker can say, hey, I'm Bob from IT. Send me a picture of that QR code you scanned, or send me the 6-digit code that you got from your computer. So these are all what we call socially engineerable. They're things that attackers can ask users for. And so that is a class of attack that still exists. And the insight that we had at Beyond Identity was that we can eliminate that whole class of attacks doing two things. One, getting rid of passwords altogether. They're really unnecessary in the modern environment. We can use biometrics instead. So you have biometrics stored most likely on your phone. You have Face ID or Touch ID that you use on your phone or your computer, and we can use that in lieu of a password to prove that you are who you say you are. And then we can also use cryptography. And so instead of asking the user to input, hey, I need a 6-digit code from you, or hey, I need you to click a button on your phone, all of those are phishable, right? Attackers can get access to those. Instead, we say, hey, I want to talk to the secure enclave on your phone. and I want it to cryptographically sign a challenge using a private key that is locked inside the device itself. So there is no way that an attacker can log into a beyond identity system without having physical access to the device itself. And that is not true for a majority of ways that MFA is done. So we have eliminated entire classes of attacks. There is no way to get into a beyond identity system from a remote device that is not supposed to be allowed. So that's really a breakthrough and a step change in how we do cybersecurity. So that's part of the Secure by Design pledge that we signed with CISA, was that we want to eliminate entire classes of attacks. So our identity provider, Secure Access, uses no passwords, and it can be configured to have no phishable forms of MFA. And so you can really lock down your identity provider in such a way that it cannot be attacked remotely and it cannot be phished, which is very exciting. So then the question is, what happens once you've locked that down? What sorts of attacks do attackers go for? They go after the rest of your infrastructure. So most companies don't just have one identity provider. They have done mergers or acquisitions, or some team has used infrastructure from somewhere else. And so they will go after those. And so we built a product called Access 360 that looks at all of your infrastructure, all of your identity infrastructure, and says, hey, that one still uses passwords. That one still uses phishable MFA. Here are all of the attacks that are possible on your whole system, not just the products that we provide, but all of the products you are using. So that helps you identify attacks that are happening elsewhere in your system. And the next thing attackers go after that is part of the identity lifecycle. So if I can't hack someone's credential, can I get a credential myself? Can I come in as a job applicant? Can I pretend to be a contractor? And to address that, we are partnering with a startup called NameTag that does remote identity proofing and uses the same cryptographic attestation that we do to prove your identity, only they use it for government documents and biometrics so that people can prove their identity as they come into the system, so that they can't ever obtain a new credential that they're not supposed to have. So that's how we're working to eliminate attacks. There's a lot of other things we're doing in the Secure by Design pledge. So please do check out the blog post in the link and take a look at those. And hopefully you will, if you are a cybersecurity vendor, hopefully you will join us in signing the pledge. And if you are someone who is consuming cybersecurity products, we hope that you stick to vendors that have signed the Secure by Design pledge and are working toward these dramatically better security solutions. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks.